The Higher Education Department has been embroiled in controversy over the appointment of 3 SETA administrations. The Democratic Alliance has called on Minister Buti Manamela to reconsider the appointments, citing their alleged involvement in corruption. Oupa Nkoane, Lehlohonolo, Masoga and Zukile, Mvalo have been appointed as administrators for the construction services, local government SETA, respectively. Their appointments are aimed at addressing governance failures within these entities, including procurement, irregularities, lapses in oversight and board instability. The party argues that the minister cannot appoint individuals implicated in corruption, mismanagement and fraud to deal with governance failures. And for more on this, we are now joined by Professor Stephanie Matseleng Allais, and she's a National Research Chair of Skills Development to look at issues of good governance and leadership in higher education. Prof, thank you so much for your time this evening here on SABC News. Maybe first, let's start off here. What is your reaction to the issue of the newly appointed Higher Education Minister now also coming under fire for the appointments of 3 SETA administrators, something that was also, our focus with the former Higher Education Minister?
Evening, nice to be here. I think the issues are quite different, and I don't know the details, and I don't want to comment on the specific individuals who have been appointed as administrators, but the issue is different to the issue of the appointment of SETA board chairpersons that we saw with the previous minister. I do think that the new minister has largely got the backing of the higher education and training sector behind him. He is got a difficult job ahead of him. He is coming in trying to do things, trying to clean it up. Certainly, if there are allegations which are serious or which are proven, then he should rethink on those particular individuals, but I wouldn't like to comment on the actual appointments.
All right. And looking at the sector, right, which is very important to higher education, why is it so significant for it to have qualified and capable leaders in these positions?
Well, the sectoral education and training authorities are very important structures because they act as intermediaries between the world of work and education and training systems, education and training institutions. They are the bodies which are set up to get information from employers about their skills needs and to shape the nature of training provision. And, when you say higher education, it's not only higher education that they play a role in. In fact, they play a role in the whole education and training system at a range of different levels. It's important because different sectors of the economy have quite different needs. Employers are quite differently organized across different sectors. And they have quite different training needs. And yet what we see in many countries around the world is that employers actually often don't do the training that would benefit them in the long term because training is a cost. So many countries around the world have set up bodies at a sectoral level to try and bring employers together. In ours, we bring employers as well as unions and sometimes other representatives of the social sector or community sectors as well. And certainly there are many problems in how this has worked out. We've done a lot of research at my research center at Wits University, and we have a number of suggestions about how they could be strengthened, refined, and improved. But I think that to have sectoral bodies is very important because that kind of interface between education and the world of work otherwise, it just gets lost.
And Prof, I like the fact that, you touch on the issues around employment. So what crucial role then does SETA play in terms of skills development, like you're saying, which is often needed in employment, that can also influence and curb the issues around a high rate of unemployment that we continue to see in the country?
Yeah, well, the SETAs actually in the main, support training for workers who are employed, although that does include new entrants into the workforce. So they will offer funding, they will channel funding into apprenticeships, learnerships, and so on, as well as more shorter kind of on-the-job training that companies need. And then some of the money from the skills levy also goes to the National Skills Fund, which is specifically geared to fund programs that train unemployed. And so, it's a very complex picture. The institutions are complex, and it's actually a very difficult thing to get right. We're not alone as a country struggling to get these kinds of institutions and systems right, because doing the kinds of training that the economy needs is tricky. We know that there are problems in our basic education and training system. So often, the training that's provided in workplaces or in TVET colleges, workers often have insufficient educational backgrounds. So it's tricky to get right. And it's very important for the economy. It's important for improving productivity in workplaces. It's important for workers' career paths in workplaces. But it is expensive. I know that's been in the spotlight of the media a lot recently. There's just no getting away from it. Any kind of vocational education and training is expensive. It is difficult to get right. I think there are problems in our systems. But I think that they can be made to work.
Yeah. And if somebody's watching this interview, why should South Africans be concerned when, this sector, SETA, is embroiled in allegations of corruption, particularly like you saying that, it aids, particularly for many South Africans who are employed in skills development wherever they are employed to better themselves in whatever it is that, the sector that they have chosen to work in?
Yeah, obviously, we know that corruption is unfortunately quite widespread in our society. And so I think there are ways in which the corporate governance in the SETAs needs to be tightened and strengthened. It does seem like there need to be more limits on the ways in which boards are remunerated for their time, what they can and can't charge for, how much they get paid, because in the main, we wouldn't really want people to be doing this kind of work for money, and we wouldn't really want politicians to be making appointments based on people who are looking for an income from this kind of work. So I would say that is an area where definitely there needs to be tightening up. There need to be tighter criteria for SETA chairpersons. I think that the Minister does seem to be really trying to address this issue. I don't envy him his new job. And I do think that, there's a lot that can be done to improve it. There is a lot of money involved, and that money does need to be going into the training that employers need, that workers need. And so, there's a range of ways in which the system should be tightened up.
All right, Prof. Thank you so much for your time. That's Professor Stephanie Matseleng Allais. She's from Wits University, and she is currently the National Research Chair for Skills Development.